If you are of a certain age and a cowboy watcher and a pizza lover, you will remember the old commercial with Deion Sanders. Pizza Hut or somebody was trying to sell thick crust versus thin crust, and Deion Sanders made the executive decision on television, both. Mike Fisher reporting on your Dallas Cowboys, and that's my answer for the burning question of which one of the things the Cowboys should do in the draft to answer the burning question, as NFL.com likes to call it. And the answer is both. A review of where we are starts, I think, with what Dalton Schultz said in the days leading up to the draft. Minus Amari Cooper, our roster's not as good. Paraphrasing, but that's the point, and it's true. So when we're wondering about this or that, my answer is, while it's true about Amari Cooper and the specifics there, that the singular answer in this draft and roster building doesn't have to be wide receiver or offensive lineman. Do the Cowboys really have to choose between one or the other? And I'm saying, why not both? So the Cowboys have re-signed, as opposed to added, a trio of, I think, count as big names: Michael Gallup, Tank Lawrence, Dalton Schultz. When NFL.com goes through the other signings, though, in their review of how they get to their burning question, they skip over Jaron Kearse, they skip over Dorrance Armstrong, Brian Anger, Dante Fowler, Leighton Vander Esch, Malik Hooker, and James Washington. I'm not saying you, Cowboy Nation, should throw a party over the fact that you signed to that group, and most of them are re-signings, actually, but it is factual that the Cowboys added these guys, kept these guys, moved these guys. It should be acknowledged, whether you like the moves or not. The NFL.com list of biggest losses, they list Amari, Gregory, and Lyle Collins. I would add Cedric Wilson to that list. I would add Connor Williams to that list. 4-year starter. He counts as a loss. So NFL.com then does its burning question. What's the plan on the offensive line? And it uses phrases like age and attrition. And that's not wrong. It uses the phrase glaring hole at left guard. That's not wrong. And it says, we'll be stunned if the Cowboys don't use at least one of their first 2 picks in the draft to fill a hole, suggesting that both picks, first and second round, might both be offensive linemen. I don't know about that. But it's impossible to argue with the age and the attrition part. That's an unpleasant note, but it's fair. They say struggled with consistency. That's way more accurate than most people know. This offensive line last year was not very good, not relative to reputation and capital spent. That was even true at the very top of the Cowboys' offensive line food chain. Really, it was. But here's the conclusion that I like best. Offensive line is more important than wideout. It's not so much more about the glaring need at one or the other. It's about the relative ease when you can find a Cedric Wilson versus finding a Lyle Collins. It's easier to find a Cedric Wilson. Might be even easier to find an Amari Cooper than it is to find a Zach Martin, if you're going to look at all-star versus all-star, apple versus apple. The receivers in this draft who can play at a high level, a Wilson level, that group runs deep. The offensive lineman who can step right in at left guard and be better than Connor Williams, or for that matter, better than Connor McGovern, that's a shorter list. And so that's how I answer the burning question. Offensive line's harder to find, and Dallas needs to find both high, offensive line and wide receiver. And my bet, as we prepare for this NFL draft, is that they will achieve both those goals. Both. Fish out.